Welcome to the Wide for the Win podcast. Reach readers around the world. Diversify your income. Get your global sales soaring. And break free of any single retailer's stranglehold on your author business. We're here to help you optimize your long-term goals for writing and publishing success. So let's get started.
We're back with the
We're
WIDEStream.
back.
I know we're back, baby. I feel like we should be playing some AC/DC music or something.
Ooh, yeah.
But then, of course, YouTube would take the audio out, or no, whatever. They wouldn't allow us to advertise. But I mean, we have a whole 15 subscribers on our new YouTube page. So if you're watching this now and you have not subscribed, please like, comment, subscribe, and hi to those of you who are watching live. Hi to everyone who's not watching live too. We still want to say hi to you.
Yeah.
My name's Mark Leslie Lefebvre. I'm with Susie O'Connell and Paul Austin Ardoin, and we are here with what are we doing today? What is the actual topic besides we're back, baby?
5 reasons to publish wide, which is sort of the heart and soul of Wide for the Win, wouldn't you say?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yes. Because
so
who doesn't love the why?
Yeah. Why are we doing this? Who wants to go first? Who wants to
do we want to do that first, or do we want to reintroduce what's coming with the podcast first?
Oh, that's a great idea, Susie. So we could just let people know we're back, and we're not just back just hanging out. We're back with a real, I mean, I have the 2-page plan that we were looking at earlier today. Yeah, hit us with what's coming up, Susie.
Yes. All right. So we're going a slightly different format. We're going to shorten it down from an hour, which we used to do, to 30 minutes to make it a little bit more digestible. We're going to keep our topics a lot more focused. So very specific strategies. Like today, we're going five reasons to publish wide, to make it so it's not so much a fire hose of information. And for people like me who have ADHD, we can actually sit through the whole thing and not just wander off. You know, we'll find one piece of information that we hear that's, oh, I love this, and then go off like I do. We're also going to be doing a lot more author interviews, and not just with your top earning, 6- and 7-figure authors, but mid-listers, and also with authors who are just starting out. Because I think, so many of our community members are just starting wide. I think it'd be a lot more helpful for them to get information from people who are, maybe one step ahead of them in their journey instead of 35 steps ahead in the journey. Or
even 32. I mean, 32 steps ahead is still really far
42.
Ahead. Yeah.
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, 42. The answer to life, the universe, and everything. Yeah. So our hope is to really make this more digestible, quicker sound bites, more implementable information or actionable information that you can implement today. Kind of a deal. Or if you're, like today's topic, 5 reasons to publish wide. If you're on the fence about publishing wide, well, here's 5 reasons why it's a good idea and why you should. We've also got something else I think at least the board members are really excited about we're going to be doing. We're going to give it a try for a couple of episodes at least. We'll see how it goes. Make My Book Better, in which we were going to workshop somebody's book live on air. So we'll bring in the first episode. We're just going to do it with board members who have experience with the genre. And I design covers. And so I can, provide that insight. But for future episodes of that, we'd love to bring in other cover designers, blurb writers, editors. We'd also like to do some interviews with other service providers in the author sphere. So PAs and VAs, editors, working with cover designers, that kind of thing. So a lot more well planned out topics, much more specific topics. So if you're looking through our list of, episodes, you can go, oh, hey, cool. I really want to hear this person coming up who's going to talk about how to succeed by publishing slow and steady as opposed to fast and furious. A little bit more easy to find find the information you're looking for, I guess. One of the best ways I can think of saying it. I'm excited. We've got the next, 6 months planned out already of episodes. So we're raring to go here.
All right, cool. Awesome. So do we want to first list them, or do we want to just say the topic and then we'll launch into that's one of the reasons?
I think we just say the topic and then launch into the reason. What do you guys think?
Sounds
Yeah,
good. Now,
works
should
for
we
me.
pick on Bradley first?
Yeah, let's pick on Bradley. Bradley wasn't able to make it live because he's how many hours ahead of us?
He's
But
in
he
the
was,
Netherlands. Yeah.
yeah, he's in the Netherlands, so he was very generous and actually pre-recorded his. So yeah, I'd say go ahead and launch and let's pick on Bradley
All right.
first.
And we said, Bradley, it's got to be 5. If you widen 5, widen 5.
5, yeah.
Here he is.
Wide in 5. 5 minutes for a wide little bit of fun. Ready? Here we go. Global, total international reach. That's what I'm talking about right now. Hey, I'm Bradley Charbonneau. I'm originally American. I now have a Dutch passport. And I live in the Netherlands. I live in Europe. And the reason that I want to talk to you for less than 5 minutes here about going wide is the pure international aspect. Based on a conversation I had yesterday with a woman where she said, we were talking about audiobooks, and she said, oh yeah, well, I use Storytel. And I said, oh, and of course I'm pushing the topic. I'm like, oh, not Audible? And she said, what? I said, it's part of Amazon. She's like, no. She uses Storytel. Because Storytel, I think it's Swedish. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure it's European. But in any case, like for example, they have a fantastic deal where you pay one payment and you have unlimited downloads and listens. What a concept, right? So especially, I'm a nonfiction author. I tend to have shorter books. And so based on the Audible one credit system, that's not going to go over too well because you're going to get the 9-hour John Grisham thriller, right? For your drive to France. But that's just one example of why being wide, being international, reaching markets you maybe didn't even know about. That's the beauty of being wide. Whereas with Amazon, of course, we know the markets that, yeah, there are a lot of them, but they're limited to where they are. In fact, in the Netherlands here, Amazon has just started a few years ago, but they're not very big and they're not very well known. And like this woman, she doesn't use it. I don't think I know anybody who gets books on Amazon in the Netherlands. Yes, I'm sure there are people, and I'm sure Amazon is pushing it, but they get their books from bol.com, B-O-L.com. And how do you get to them? I'm pretty sure it's either through Kobo or Draft2Digital. I think it's Kobo. And they have a relationship with Bol. Now, here are two companies, if you're not wide, maybe you didn't even know about, right? Kobo and bol.com. You're like, what is bol.com? Bol.com is the default bookstore in the Netherlands. And there's 18 million people here. A lot of them speak English. And remember, I'm just one guy in one non-American or English language as a first language speaking country example here. And this is an example of, come on, Peps. I'm in my office here and I've got some visitors. Pepper, get out of the middle of the road. Pepper, uit de weg. Pepper, uit de midden van de weg. Hij gaat niet uit de midden van de weg.
Yeah.
All right, I'm giving you live action. You know what? I'm not even going to edit this because those were non-English speaking people. And that's another interesting element of completely going wide, is reaching English speaking. They do speak English. And in fact, a lot of Dutch people buy English language books. In fact, the woman yesterday, her thing, she said, I remember, I'm a nonfiction guy. She said, I really prefer it. My favorite is when the nonfiction book is read by the author in their original language. So think about this, especially if you're non-English, to make sure that you are in countries where that's the native tongue. So Spain or Mexico or South America or anywhere else in the world, Germany in the German-speaking countries or French in French-speaking countries. And remember, it's not just the countries, but all of their, past conquerors of colonies, former colonies, right? So not just one country and one company like Amazon in the US. Now, remember, I'm American. That's where I grew up. That's what I know. Amazon was everything when I lived there. That's where you order your stuff and your junk and your books and your Kindle. Yeah, I have a Kindle, but I also have a Kobo reader now. And so remember that there is going to be people who don't just buy on the big river. They want to be elsewhere in the world, and so the question is, are you? Are you international, and how international are you? And are you reaching markets that Amazon doesn't reach. Like Kobo, like Storytel, like these companies, Kobo Plus is now in the Benelux. Benelux is Belgium, Netherlands, Luxembourg, right? And Kobo Plus is there. I think it started there. So I'm almost up to my 5 minutes. We got Wide in 5. I'm Bradley Charbonneau. I hope this was helpful to help you understand the international impact of going beyond your borders. Thanks for watching.
So handy.
It was very handy, and I think you just stole about half of my talking points.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay for us to overlap
It
because
is.
one of the things I've learned is it's important, like as you're constantly learning, I've been in the industry over 30 years, is sometimes you have to hear something 4 or 5 times before you actually start paying attention and pick it up.
So yeah, speaking of Bradley stealing some of my points, if you guys don't mind, I'll take the next one.
Of course.
Because it kind of, flows very nicely into. So my top reason for publishing wide is reaching a wider reader base. As Bradley pointed out, Amazon is not everywhere. And along those lines, not everybody reads on Amazon. Not everybody reads on Kindle. Not everybody buys their paperbacks from Kindle. I personally, if I'm reading ebooks, I actually tend to read them on my smartphone, my iPhone. I like Apple Books, or I also like the Nook app better than Kindle's app. I like the Kobo app better than Kindle's app. So I tend to read on those as well. The other thing is yes, Amazon is a large chunk of even the American audience. I've seen some people estimate 80%. I don't think it's anywhere near that high. It could be. I'm not entirely sure, of course. And I'm hoping you guys are really still on. I'm hoping my internet didn't freeze. We've been having issues. But anyhow, wider reader base. I love reading on things. I've had people reach out to me that say they're so glad they are able to find my books on Kobo or Apple or Barnes and Noble or Google Play. I want to get my books in front of as many people as I possibly can, because that's more sales for me. It's more people reading my books. It's me being able to live my dream of being a published author, because there's more readers out there that I can reach on these other platforms. And like Bradley pointed out, Amazon is not the big dog in a lot of countries around the world. So yeah, I want to reach more countries around the world as well, not just the US, not just the English-speaking countries. And another market besides the Netherlands that has a very large English-speaking population is Germany. Germans love English books. And I took 4 years of German in high school, and I was really fascinated by our exchange students who preferred to read in English because it helped them improve their English. It's reaching readers where they want to read is another big point of this. It's not readers' jobs to go find us books or find our books. It's our jobs to reach them. We are providing them with a service, whether it's nonfiction, you're informing them, or it's fiction and you're entertaining them. It's our job to reach them where they read, where they prefer to read. And I can't tell you how many times I've come across authors who are new to Wide, who are considering Wide, who think that for some reason readers owe them sales on Amazon. And that's just not the case. It's like readers are buying my books. They're taking a chance on me. I'm going to reach out to them wherever they read. I think those were kind of my main points without going over. So what do you guys have? Mark, you're muted.
I gave you solo, layout while you were doing the talk, so we could spotlight each person speaking. I figured out how to do that. Cool. Yeah, I think that's a really important thing. I love the idea of reaching readers where they want to read. They're not necessarily going to change platforms just for little old me. Yeah. They're going to change platforms maybe for Stephen King. I remember, Stephen King was doing early technology stuff. It'd be like, yeah, okay, I'll do this just because I need to get a Stephen King story. But last time I checked, I'm nowhere near that level of fame.
Yeah, so most authors aren't.
Yeah, and I am in Canada, and I do read on Kobo, so that's my default reader of choice. Yep. And even looking for audio platforms, I actually listen to audio on multiple platforms as well. Not Kobo. I have a subscription there. I have a subscription to Audible as well, but I also use 2 different library apps because I'm such an avid audiobook listener.
Yeah. Well, and think about it too. so I'll get books in my Facebook news feed, advertising for books. And I'm like, oh, that book sounds really great. It sounds right up my alley. And I go to click on it and it's only available on Amazon. I don't have a Kindle. Yes, I have the Kindle app. I'm not a big fan of the Kindle app. It's a little better now than it was, but it used to be kind of clunky and just, I don't know. I didn't like the interface. Right. So I prefer not. How many readers out there are you losing if you're not wide? If you're only in Kindle Unlimited with your ebooks, what if somebody has a moral or an ethical objection to reading on Amazon? Maybe they don't want to support this giant corporation.
Right.
They'd rather support a smaller company like Kobo,
Fair enough. Or they own a Nook and they want to be able to get their stuff on that device. Yep. Or Dan Wood from Draft to Digital, for example, he reads everything on Apple. He's an Apple guy, right? So the Apple app on his phone, that's his place to get his books, audio and ebooks. All right, I think what do we got next? Is Paul doing the next one?
Yeah, I can do the next one for sure. So I think one of the greatest reasons to go wide is that you're not dependent on a single retailer. I think all of us at some point have dealt with technology at a point where something has gone down and our life has been bad for 24 to 48 hours or longer because of it. Susie, you were having internet problems earlier. When your IT goes down in your house, it's a problem, and big retailers are not immune to this either. Amazon part of their whole conglomerate is they've got a subsidiary called Amazon Web Services, and AWS goes down from time to time, and when it does, you can't purchase anything through the Kindle app sometimes, and when you don't have that available to you as an author, it can be crippling sometimes. We are also probably familiar with Amazon's rules and regulations about what you need to do as an author to be exclusive to Amazon and to be able to be in Kindle Unlimited. You aren't able to do things like sell your books on your own web store. You can't, in some cases, start Kickstarter campaigns with certain books. Maybe you can't give your books away for free if you want to. And I think we've all heard stories, at least anecdotally, from authors who have been tagged by Amazon as breaking the rules when they haven't. There was, especially a few years ago, there was a whole thing about Kindle stuffing, about companies tricking the system into, or authors tricking the system into getting page reads when there really wasn't any content on those pages. Well, Amazon, as they should have, cracked down on this, but there were a lot of innocent indie authors caught in the crossfire of that. And if you're kicked off of a platform, especially when you're in that exclusivity, where there are a whole lot of rules and regulations that are crucial to you following if your livelihood depends on writing, I just could not bring myself to be exclusive to a single retailer. And we're picking on Amazon, but if any other e-retailer had similar rules about being exclusive with them, I would have the same concerns. What happens if your systems go down? What happens if you think I've broken a rule and I haven't? So, for a lot of reasons, that's one of my biggest examples of why I chose to go wide.
Yeah, that's a really great point about not just Amazon. Little tiny bit of blip of news coming out of Apple that their books app and their bookstore is not a super high priority. No, they're not saying they're going to keep it open. They're not saying they're going to shut it down. But what happens if they do? If you're wide.
And a piece of news that I heard for Apple Books is that if you want to sell through the Apple bookstore in the European Union, they are now requiring a phone number and a physical address for you as the author. And if you don't have a post office box, or if you don't have a rental box from your local UPS store or Via Box or something like that, people don't want to have their address and phone number out on the internet for everybody to see, and it's not always convenient or viable for people to get a PO box or a Google phone number or something like that. And it's certainly, even if it is viable, it's a pain to do.
Yeah, it is. Just have to pop up. We have Kristen says hello, widely. Happy to see a live stream again. Great to have you there. Thanks for the comment. Comments help because it just tells the algorithms at YouTube to show it to more people. I think what you guys were talking about is a perfect segue into one of the things that was really important to me, and that is multiple paydays from multiple sources. So let me see. I'm going to go solo layout for this particular one. And this is an important thing to me, and it has always been an important thing to me, is multiple sources of income. And it sounds like we're bashing a particular retailer. We're not. I do make a significant chunk of money from Amazon, but I don't make all my money from Amazon. I get a wonderful, relatively consistent payday every month from Amazon towards the end of the month, but I also get paid from different retailers at different times. I get paid from my direct sales usually within 24 hours after the sale gets processed. It goes right into my bank account, which is fantastic. My version of Wide's a little bit wider than just thinking about ebooks and digital and stuff like that. I do get royalty statements. I do get advances from traditional publishers. So I've broadened my version of Wide to even beyond just thinking about ebooks and Amazon exclusivity. For example, I was just talking to Susie and Paul before we went live about getting some banners delivered from Vistaprint, because I'm going to be doing some in-person events this weekend. And those in-person events are another source of income. Yeah, it requires a bit more of an investment, like the banners and the tablecloths and stuff like that I purchase, and even the stock that I have to pre-purchase. But again, it's a different source of income. And usually I either have the cash in my pocket right away, or again, through Square, I get the money directly in my account. So same thing, you got direct sales, you got various sources like that. And that's one of the other things, so that if any one of those sources dries up, if Amazon dries up, it's probably going to hurt a little bit more, but it's not going to take out my entire income as an author. And I think that's one of the more important aspects is being able to circumvent that risk, which I think is really important. And I want to just go back as I bring my colleagues back up onto the screen, go back to something that you guys were talking about. And I remember Michael Tamblin at Kobo saying this when I worked at Kobo. He said, when you look at the other main companies, the priority, one of the big retailers that sells ebooks is an everything store. So books, again, while they're a major part of it, that's not their core business. That's not where they really make all their money. One of the other ones is a gigantic search engine, right? So books it took them 10 years to have with their direct self-pub platform before it actually became something viable for authors, where they actually cleaned it up and got some really good book people in there to fix it. Barnes & Noble is only available in the US, so it's not really useful to anyone outside the US. And again, Apple's another tech company about selling Apple and Macintosh devices and stuff like that. So again, the priority of a company like Kobo is books and reading. That's their main priority. You can say Barnes & Noble's also about books and knickknacks in the store and all that stuff. But again, that's another reason why having multiple sources is important. Oh, you're muted. You pulled a mark.
I pulled a mark. I did. And if anybody listened to the previous WIDEStream episodes, I've been over my burnout and not publishing or releasing a book in going on 6.5 years now. If I were reliant on just Amazon, which prioritizes newer releases, I would be screwed. I would not have a career at all right now. So having those multiple paydays, reaching that wider audience, makes it so that I can still write and I can still work from home and still do this part-time now. But it's like if I were reliant on just one retailer, and if it wasn't Amazon, if I was saying, even if I were just reliant on just Apple,
Yeah.
Same thing, you know, I'd have one narrow stream of income. So a lot of the wide game is just multiple streams of income. And like you said, Mark, we're here in Wide for the Win. We're beyond just ebooks. I mean, we're looking at, to give you a point to slide into the next one, libraries.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other countries, other formats, selling direct on your website. I mean,
Yeah.
That's what we're about here at Wide for the Win. Is we want you to reach as many readers as you can in as many countries in as many formats, and we're here to help you do that.
Yeah, and that's a great segue into this topic for libraries, where we'll just leave all of us up on the screen for this one. But this is really, really critically important to me. I've always been a fan of my library from the moment getting those Berenstein Bears and Dr. Seuss books and stuff from the local library. Because again, the nearest bookstore where I grew up was an hour drive away. And it was a big trip. It was a big deal. It was kind of like you only did it once a month and you had to do all your shopping at once and stuff like that. So it was like, because, you know, we would get in the wagons and we would go, because I'm of that age. but that was an important thing, is the library is important to me. But here's another thing, and this is really important when you're first coming, if you're first coming into Wide and you've trained your readers in Kindle Unlimited, you can share with them that now that you can read all my books for free at the library. So again, it benefits the community, it benefits you as an author. And if you're outside the US like I am, the 36 countries around the world have public lending right programs. And I'm not saying that to rub it in with you guys, but I'm saying Canada has a very generous public lending right program. So do other countries. So if you are an author watching this from outside the US, just Google public lending right. The Public Lending Right Commission has different sites for the various countries, and it's another way that I get additional revenue. I actually get, a certain time of the year I get a check for my books appearing in libraries. But it's also a great thing, because I did interview folks from the Panorama Project a few years ago from the University of Portland, and their study showed that pirates and libraries, which publishers like to blame, but book pirates and libraries actually help sell more books, because what happens is people read them, more people read the books, and then more people talk about the books. And when people talk about the books to their friends, the friends go and get the books wherever I would get it on Kobo. Maybe someone else is going to go get it from their library. Someone else is going to see if it's available on Amazon or Nook or whatever. And so that's the key thing, is it really helps get you in front of more readers. Any other thoughts on libraries, guys?
What's that one meme I keep seeing going around about people deciding that the books and knowledge were so important that we had to make them free, which is in the terms of libraries. Every time I see that, it's kind of like, funny, but it's so true, Yeah. And I can't tell you how many readers I've talked to and other authors that like, my local library probably saved my life. They gave me a place to go to, kind of a second home, a place where I was safe, where I could explore other worlds, other ideas, where I could learn. So yeah, I mean, I'm totally jealous about your public lending rights. I wish we had that in the US. Maybe I should continue writing to my congressman about it, and other US authors.
And authors groups as well. If you're members of different authors organizations, they can petition, because it was the Canadian authors, the Writers Union of Canada, I should say, that worked with Canada Council of the Arts to make it happen here in Canada.
Yeah. I don't know if you see Katie's comment.
Oh,
sorry. Just because we don't have the lending rights doesn't mean we don't get paid. I know when I was when I first became a Wide author, I didn't think that we got paid by libraries. I thought it was just, you put your books out there and maybe they'll read your first in the series and they'll buy the other ones. But realizing that there is a cost per checkout for that you get for some of the library services out there, and others will purchase your ebook at 2 or 3 times the cover price, and you get that. So for newbies out there, you actually do get paid by libraries, even if you're not outside the US.
100%, 100%. Thanks for that reminder, Paul, because people forget about that. I love Kristen's. I was a library kid, now I'm a library adult, and I'm a library-friendly author. Libraries for the win. Yes.
Exactly. And Katie had a really good question too. Other than notifications on the Libby app, how can we encourage our library to carry our books? Get your readers, ask your readers to say, hey, go to your local library and ask them to carry your books, or if they can get copies of your books in stock. And that could be digital versions, and it could be print versions if you have print available.
But also let them
mobilizing
know
readers.
they do like supporting local authors. Let
Yeah.
them know that you're a local author and say, hey, I'm a local author. And maybe through, your Kobo dashboard or wherever you can see the global map and see where in the world your books are sold. I've sold in 42 different countries around the world. Maybe some local people want to check me out.
Yeah.
Libraries do love working with you. And they're so easy to get. You can say, it's available through Overdrive or Hoopla or Baker & Taylor or all the various library applications like that.
Yep.
And you, as an author, you can request that your book be put in the library as well. All you need is a library card in a lot of situations, and in some cities, you don't even need that. So, I used to live in California, but nowhere near LA, and my books are in the LA County Library system because I requested that they be put in there, and I got a couple of my friends who live in LA to do the same.
So. Awesome. And it looks like Kristen's done the same thing with her socials and emails, the street team members. The libraries don't always say yes, but you never know. Sometimes they will, right?
Exactly. The answer is always no if you don't ask.
Yeah. And I have to say, welcome, Archie. Archie is watching and saying, thanks for the info from authors looking to go wide for the first time in the next month or two. Archie, pay attention, 4:00 Eastern standard time on the same bat channel, the wide channel here on YouTube. We'll be posting various things, and even there'll be some great stuff that I think you're going to find useful. So thanks for that comment. I appreciate that.
Yep. And hey, look at that. We've already managed to fill up the whole half hour already. Can you believe it?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you guys. Thanks everyone for the comments.
Thank
you guys as well. This will be going out in the audio only feed for the Wide for the Win podcast, which Bradley has helped set up and establish, and we'll be posting links to that, of course, over in the comments here, as well as in the YouTube channel and the Facebook channel, and in Wide for the Win Circle group, of course. Probably the Circle group first, and then we'll post it everywhere else afterwards.
Yep. And what do we have coming up next week is how to get the most out of live in-person conferences, right?
Yeah, as many of us are going to be at Author Nation coming up in November, we want to say, okay, wait, a bunch of us are introverts. How are we going to do this? So we have a great chat about how to make the most of in-person events. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Whitelings, we'll see you next week.
Whitelings out.
Thanks for listening to the Wide for the Win podcast. The music for this podcast, Sax and Rock and Roll, was composed and recorded by Kevin MacLeod and was licensed for use in this recording. Stay in touch with fellow Wide authors at wideforthewin.com and check out the regular live Wide streams over at youtube.com/wideforthewin.